This is it. Welcome back to Austria. It's all boiled down to this. Round 4 is about to come to a head.
It's boiled down, it's blimmin' sunny, it's lovely and warm, and that man's got a punter gamer.
Oh, it's toasty. It's perfect to have a nice, crisp Austrian beer. We're near the Alps. It's kind of alpine.
Alpi, yes.
There's not much of a breeze, so it's not going to be too dusty, but conditions are looking pretty toasty.
Yeah, it's challenging conditions. Interesting from the RC2 race, which has just gone off the long final. We did see a reduction in pace from some of the very fast guys. They obviously had changed their tyres, so just what you've seen in 7 minutes is not going to translate for the hour-long final.
If you're just joining us, you want to find out what built up to this climax, this 14 drivers on this order. Let's take a look at qualifying. We've got Barufalo on pole, haven't we? That's the story.
The story is, it's Barufalo from Ongaro from Runnefeld. Ongaro and Runnefeld, of course, well, we all know that. Marco Barufalo, interloper, in for the first time in the Beach RCT wildcard team, straight in, claims pole for the endurance race and claimed it by quite a long way. In a fantastic set of qualifying, Runnefeld made up for a terrible yesterday, getting on third. Ongaro, great in clean air, not so good in traffic.
Okay, well, let's have a look at how it broke down over the 4 qualifying races. There's been a whole day of fantastic entertainment here in Austria for the RCGP World Series. If you've just tuned in, let's have a look at what you missed out on.
Blue car needs to get up the inside of the over jump there by Runnefeld. And can he get up? And then he goes this. We're all about power now. And now he's going to hop. Oh, he's got him, hopped him, jumped in. Well, no, he had to wait. He's been given a wait, so he landed on him, and he had to wait and get through. The winner of that, obviously, when second and third are battling. The person who wins is the leader. And round out. And now Runnefeld is to Barufalo, but Barufalo will take that. So Ongaro has about 3 corners to go to make another win, get another point for RCGP. But of course, he will start 14th in the next one.
Yeah, more points. We put a new tire this morning, so maybe the tire can have to use them. But yeah, car was good. I'm happy.
Sweep round over the triple, double, single. This is where Runnefeld's not being quick. This time he's good, but he's only got a few corners to get round. Just so you know, you'll probably just see flashing ahead is the white body shell of your Neumann, but it's looking good for Barufalo because it's going to take a bit of a do or die move now around this last corner. And round they go, and it is Barufalo second, but more importantly, Neumann wins. Your fingers took you off in the lead and lights the flag.
Yeah, this time I start first and had a clean start. I think for the first time the whole weekend. Then first couple laps I pushed quite hard to make a small gap to Lee, and then I stayed easy, no mistake, and could take the win.
Is it an easy track to drive with no mistakes when you've got very little pressure?
No, I think because it's so high speed you can like hit a rock or some bumps and make a mistake.
Boots looking very, very racy, and they are being the last lap, so Canas is still happy a long, long way away, but this is where the battle is on the last lap. One car's Canas, Westworks leading. Cole Ogden for AP Former in second. S-Works International teammate of Canas is Boots is in third. Ongaro is going to get the reasonable points, but he's just drifting back as they come up and over the and up the inside, and Boots is going to get him. He's got it, so Boots takes second. Just got up the inside of Ogden there with his 4 corners to go, coming over the hill. Oh, and he slid over the hill. Canas, let me tell you, he's going to win this one. Canas wins. But, and Boots has blown it on the last corner. And now is he going to lose the next position as well? But no, also has blown it. But amazingly, also who had blown it was Ongaro. So third is Barufalo. Last lap action. Wow. It's easy from the front, isn't it?
Yes, for the first it's super easy.
How is the car handling?
Yes, the car was super good, and engine too, and tires too.
Ongaro, Ongaro's not been as good in traffic today as he has been moving out front, no problem whatsoever. In traffic, he seems to struggle slightly. Now he's on the back of Boots, who's 2 behind Baruffalo. McBride nearly made a mistake on the last line, but it's Ronefalk who wins it. McBride second, Neumann third, Ongaro fourth. Boots got Baruffalo on the last lap, but it's still not enough because it does mean that Baruffalo is going to be our pole man. You finally got the first lap right and you were clear free.
Yeah, it happened 2 times today. One when I came from the back, finished third in the second one. That was pretty good. And then third one was obviously chaos in the start. I was getting the worst out of it. Started 5th, I think, in this one. And yeah, they got a little bit together in the back there, and I could go around the outside, and I was able to pass Hofer as well. So from 5th to 1st on the first lap is not bad, and it makes it a lot easier.
Well, in the buy one, get one free 2 with the prize one, I have our front row together here. It's the Italian duo. It is Marco Baruffalo and Beach RC from Scuderia Scampi Rosso. It's Davide Ongaro. Let's start with you, Marco. You've managed to get the thing on pole. Now what do you do?
I think it will be a long final, hard final, because 1 hour in this track is very difficult for the tires and for everything, because it's full of long corner and it's difficult to maintain the right line in every lap. And there are so many drivers with the same lap time, so it was difficult for that. It is difficult.
Davide, first time you've not been on pole for an RCGP race. I mean, you're only a couple of meters back, but is that disappointing?
No, I'm happy also, but we try the super soft compound in the practice, and I think it was too soft. So now for the final we put the soft compound. We'll see how we go, and I hope to make a good race.
It's a very, very fast track. Does that mean it's a very thirsty track as well, so short runs?
Yeah, I think with the full stop I will do 7 minutes, so yeah.
How about you? Same again, it's a lot of fuel being used?
I think I will do 2 full stop more than other drivers, because I think I fuel at 6 minute third. Yeah.
So generally you're getting through the fuel that quickly?
Yeah, my dad, I think, is quick. I hope.
You just turn it right up rich and off we go?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to race on this track because it's, we've seen, for example, Lee Martin was able to hold people back for a long time, and then people who go for a lunge just fall off. Is it a case of just waiting for a mistake, or do you think you can actually overtake?
Yeah, it's difficult to overtake because it's short and with a fast corner. Yeah, I hope to not make mistake on the first and second laps, and we'll see how we go.
And Marco, all you've got to do is just go off in the stop, never get overtaken. You haven't got to do any overtaking.
Yeah, I have no one to overtake, but it's difficult to keep Davide behind me because he's very fast, and so I will do my best to take the best result that I can.
Great stuff, guys. That's our front row ready and talking to us. And just around the corner there, that's the man in third. A quick word. David, you've got to get past 2 Italians.
Yeah, I'll just wait for them to crash to each other, and then I'll go.
Seems like a good idea. Yeah. Oh, I'm upset now. You better get going. Okay, right. So now you've seen the top 3 briefly. Let's see the rest of the grid.
In position number 1, you've just seen him, Marco Baruffalo for Beach RC from Italy. Position number 2, it's Davide Ongaro from Scuderia Scampi Rosso, also from Italy. In position number 3, David Ronefalk from Sweden in the HB Racing Performer Buggy. Position number 4, it's Carl McBride from Australia, driving for Infinity. Position number 5, it's Juan Carlos Canas from Spain in the S-Works. Position number 6, it's Elliot Booth from Great Britain, also in the S-Works. Position number 7, Robert Battier from Spain, driving for Beach RC. Position number 8, it's Bjorn Neumann from Germany in the S-Works. Position number 9, it's Max Moore driving for JQ Racing, and no surprises, he's from Finland. Position number 10, his countryman, his teammate, his boss, it's Joseph Wagrain, also from JQ Racing. Position 11, it's Lee Martin from Great Britain driving for Infinity. Position 12, from United States of America, it's Cole Ogden driving the HB Racing Performer buggy. And in position 13, Mika Wittmeier from Germany in the S-Works. And in position number 14, it's Patrick Hoffer for Scuderia Scampi Rosso.
Well, that was a impressive delivery. I know there was one of them where you suddenly went American preacher. Praise the Lord, it's Cole Ogden. Exactly. Now, interestingly, there's something new here, which is amazing, is that Mao appears to be introducing the marshals. So the marshals are getting a round of applause. The president looking a long way, and the marshal's running on, waving, yes, hello, I'm the marshal.
Is he filling time?
No, he just doesn't know. He just decided he wanted to get the marshals on the pitch. He's great. So they're going through the Volderole again. We'll have a 3-minute warm-up after this. Matt stormed out saying, hang on, I've done my very long-winded thing and then still didn't get anything out of it. Yeah, that was a wind noise you just heard. I didn't do anything, I just touched it and saw the reaction to get from you. We've got a very big desk in front of us, which is guarded like a Rottweiler by James. And I leant in. I touched one of the knobs, didn't move it at all. I like, ruff, ah, don't touch my mixing desk. It's mine. My precious desk. You can reply. All you need to do is turn the orange thing up. We are filling at this point, by the way.
I just know how it's been set. That's all. I know how it's been set. I know where everything is. And I don't like you fiddling.
I am prepared to admit I'm a liability around tripods, but you know. I have approximately almost knocked over about 14 so far. Well, the same one 14 times. They're very spindly-legged, your tripods, aren't they?
For travelling.
No, it's just that's all there is. We have a quite tired aircon unit. And for a lot of the day, it's actually cooler outside. But we were here for the large-scale Euros back in August, and the air conditioning not only wasn't working, if you turned it on to be a fan, it tripped the electricity. So we had an absolute sweatbox in here. But, you know, it is what it is. So I'm not quite sure what they're waiting for now. Are they still marshals short? That's a big gig, isn't it, being a marshal for an hour? Do you not think so? It's a big job being a marshal for an hour.
It is, and especially in this weather as well. It's quite hot, it's quite dusty.
Because I used to, obviously I do 12th racing, which is 8-minute heats, and I get bored doing an 8-minute heat. So, oh, come on.
There seems to be no parasols as well by these marshal points. I've seen it before where they're actually get a bit of shade, somewhere to... Just a team of tourists come by and try and stand in front of everything we're doing here. Honestly. Can you show our little villa, Zach? Show where we are. We can wave to the camp, but we can wave to ourselves effectively. So you know where we are. We're up here. And so you can get Harry in a shot as well. Hold that.
So we look at that. That's us. So Harry is that. The windows are too dark.
No, you can see.
Can you? Okay.
Yep.
We're waving there. Oh, I can see my hand waving. Yeah. So that's where we are, and it's people are trying to use the front of us as a viewing platform with their punter gamers, which is nice. Hello, everybody. We are RC. I haven't got my shirt on, so I shouldn't be on camera. But they're trying to, and we're going, no, we can't see. Again. But yes, so this track is very well sorted out. I mean, admittedly, this position that Zach has. Can you show Zach's positions, Harry? We're actually quite proud of this position that Zach has, because that wasn't where the camera was supposed to be, and we constructed it by ourselves from a selection of tables, and so far Zach's had no injuries. It might change. It might change. He should be injured for wearing that terrible shirt, to be honest.
For the sake of public liability and health and safety, someone else constructed that platform for us. It was nothing to do with us.
We're in a different country now. I don't think my liability insurance comes down to it. But it's amazing what you can do with some tape and some tyre wraps to make things significantly less rickety, isn't it? So the cars are around doing their 3-minute warm-up. It's about 1 minute and 11 seconds to go. They will start in that very tight Formula One grid. Now, it was interesting what Marco said to us, is that they were stopping, he stopped every 6 minutes. That is a thirsty engine. That's like an alcoholic engine. Now, I can't see why he would stop every 6 minutes, because he's been running 7 in practice. In the qualifying race is 7 and a bit. So I guess he's...
How long have I got?
Showing a bit of about 40 seconds. There's an atmosphere to it. 3 is the low-down camera looking at the hot race hairpin. Got Walter Wendler and the track organiser being one of the marshals. You've got David Isherwood, the co-owner of the RCGP series, doing it. There's a lot of kind of... Mrs. Mao's out. We've got Mrs. Mao. Let's get Mrs. Mao on the camera. I know that Mrs. Mao only does the finals. The heats are done by Walter, so there's kind of a very much demarcation of who gets to wave the flag, isn't there? So Mrs. Mao walks up. That is a very positive stride from that young lady, it has to be said. I must admit, I'm pretty impressed by Mrs. Mao's stridage. So just to remind you, it's Marco Barufalo in pole. David Ongaro is second. So Barufalo from Beach RC, Ongaro from Scuderia Scampi Rosso, Ronafalk from HB Performer. Carl McBride is in 4th from Infinity. One Cars Canas from S-Works International is in 5. His teammate Elliot Boots in 6. Robert Battle from Beach RC is 7. Your Neumann from the European version of S-Works is in 8. Max Mort and Jose Quagreen, the 2 JQ drivers, in 9 and 10. Lee Martin is in 12 for Infinity. Colt Ogden is in, car 12, 11. Colt Ogden is 12. Mitch Widmeyer 13. Patrick Hoffer is 14. And the countdown will now start for the 1 hour race. And we're starting just the 15 minutes late. And it is an 89 lap final, which is about an hour. And off they go, and it's a clean start from Barufalo, but Ronafalk's got up round the outside of Ongaro. They're stuck there, and Ongaro's got himself a little bit stuck, but then he kind of wobbled over the top of the bollard at the end of the corner and got away with it. So that was very nearly a disaster for Ongaro in that he was being pushed in the wrong way, but just, now first and second have come together, and second and third. Wow, Ongaro's had 9 accidents and nothing's happened to him, and now Ronafalk is the massive loser. He's got stuck underneath Robert Battle, and that has dropped him down to nowhere. So he fell under Robert Battle, he got dropped down, and now the first and second are back to how they were in the condition. But 3rd place and 4th place, the 2 JQ drivers. Let's drop back to 3rd and 4th. That's JQ in the green car, and Max Moore in the yellow car, because after a disaster for Dave Ronafalk, which sees him now into 13th, Ongaro was a lucky little boy about 4 times, but you make your own luck. And now the rest of the field is being headed by the JQs of Joseph Quad Green and Max Moore. 118. Barufalo out and away, as is being chased very heavily by, and Malt's made a mistake, dropped out. Now Canas now looking to move into 4th place. Quad Green stays 3rd. Canas in 4th. I can only imagine what the swear words that Ronafalk was saying, because he must be absolutely livid with himself for making that mistake so early on. 38.3 from Ongaro, 4 thousandths of a second a lap faster in that particular lap. So let's just move up to Ongaro, orange wing, just 1 car forward, and around on the patio section now. So Ongaro now is about to go over the bridge. Harry, Ongaro, please, on the main straight. And there he is. So we now have Barufalo and Ongaro. breaking away from third and fourth, which is Quad Green and Canas, as Ongaro comes round, temporarily missing the timing. It's Barufalo from Ongaro, from Quad Green, from Canas. The lead is 2.1 seconds, with 2 of the laps gone. So over the line goes Barufalo, 38.1, 38.4 for Ongaro. So he loses 0.3 of a second. Let's drop back to Quad Green again in third, please, because he's now getting severely hassled by Canas. Oh, Canas around the outside there of the Infinity Leap. And they turn round into the hairpin, and it is actually Canas who's managing a 3-corner pass to get past Green. More importantly, then straight through goes the Infinity of Carl McBride into fourth. Ronafal's got himself back up to 8th, by the way, off camera. So still going well with Bruffer, not made a mistake so far. Then Ongaro. Green isn't in third anymore, that's Canas. Boots seems to have dropped. It was Boots who's now got past McBride. So Boots now runs ahead of McBride, then Quad Green, then Martin, then Ronafalt, then it's Ogden, then it's Vidmeyer, Battle, Mort, and then your Neumann, and finally it is Patrick Hoffer who brings up the rear. But you've got a breakaway of 2. Oh, and look at that, hopped over him there, and that was a great move by Elliot Boots. So Boots now moves into a third place. Barufalo has lost a little bit of his lead to Ongaro. There's a huge gap now to this gaggle of cars, which is now led by Elliot Boots, who is just ahead of Canas, who is just ahead of Carl McBride. So this battle for third, fourth and fifth is very close. I'm keeping my eye also on the lead battle, which is now coming into the hairpin. So there are basically 2/3 of the diameter of this massive track behind our leaders. And we are now just turning minute number 4. So they hop now back up in the table. Oh, and he just spun right out there, and that's lost some time for Boots, but he managed to get 4 wheels down again. That means that Canas now has a pretty unopposed third place. 1/10 of a second gained by Ongaro that time round. The gap is 1.1 seconds for the lead. As Canas carries on in third. That's gapped back out again. So Canas now being back caught again by McBride, and oh no, as I say that, McBride fell right over and then he dropped the pace again. So now it's Boots who moves into fourth. Right, we need to go back onto the main straight, please, because the first 2 are right together. Barufalo just ahead of Ongaro on the main straight. And now they fly over the back and they're coming into the hairpins. These are leaders right together. Probably a very minor mistake, a half-second mistake by Barufalo, and suddenly he does have Ongaro right behind him. As they go over the Infinity jump, they're going to turn left and take the triple. Now, the word was on the street from Barufalo he's going to be stopping a lot more times than Ongaro, and that's not going to do him any favours at all. But whether that was just, I don't know, a little bit of a wind-up for an interview, or because, oh, and they go over the track and then they're right together. So, right, now this is the absolute meat of the battle. These 2 guys have been by far the class of the field today. Ronafalk, the other class of the field, he's having real problems. He's battling through, and Ronafalk has got himself up to 6th. They're coming to the hairpin now. So Ronafalk is 6th. These 2 are, oh, he got the, oh, so Ongaro actually was ahead there for about a metre, but he could see what was going to happen with the car. He was going to drift out and they're going to hit each other. It's pretty certain he'd then get the wrath of Mal, the race director, and so you could see the car brake, and he just let Barufalo get the space back again because he wasn't on the right line for the next 2 corners. There was going to be a coming together. We are only, 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in actually now for an hour, a 1/10 of the way. And it's Ongaro stops for fuel. Wow, Ongaro stops on 6 minutes. 6:25 with the end of that lap. He stopped for fuel. We're still with Barufalo. Now, my guess is Barufalo probably go home and got a first retirement. I think it's Lee Martin who's retired. And is that Barufalo over? So he gets going again, not the fastest bit of marshalling, but that now means that he's, with Ongaro right behind him, he's lost an entire fuel stop with that accident. So Barufalo, suddenly the pressure went of Ongaro. He fell over, and he's now lost the entire advantage he would have had from the fuel stop. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I was watching Martin being taken off the track. Suddenly you see you missed the second thing that happened, which is Buffalo going in. So Buffalo now in for fuel. Let's take him through the fuel stop, because he will now start. So, no, the thing is, where is he going to come out? Because he's lost about 5 seconds. And he comes out. Now, I think everyone else is taking fuel as well. So he actually just has that deficit to Ongaro. And after that 4 or 5 second mistake. And you now get a big gap. Right, and can we drop back to the third place battle, which is between McBride and Boots. He's just about to go off the patio and up over the top of the hill before they turn onto the triple. Both sort of orangey cars, that's right, thank you very much, Harry. Now over the bridge. Oh, and look at that, straight through. Oh, McBride has stopped. We've lost McBride. So both the Infinity cars have gone really early, and the Marshal almost gets run over. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. So back he goes in, but let's now pick back up with the action again, and we've got Boots in third, in fourth. Let's see if we can go back to our leader, who is Ongaro. Ongaro now just coming to the end of the lap. He's just about to come across the line any second now. So Ongaro comes across the line. Went in for fuel again, didn't he? Around the outside, sorry. So Ongaro now has a lead of 6.3 seconds. Boots has done the fastest lap of all, the 38.8 and the 38.1. So Boots is now moving forward. He's found a bit of speed. He's in free air, which is obviously going to help him. Fourth place is Canas, and fifth is Ronafalk. And in fairness, with Battle in sixth, they're all lapping relatively the same amount of pace. So Ongaro doesn't have a massive pace advantage, he's further up the track. There we go, under the hill. Ongaro still leads. Last time round was a 38.5. A bad lap again for Buffalo, 42.9. Just wondering whether Buffalo's bad lap. Now, what we need to drop down. Right, we need to pick up Buffalo. Buffalo is just coming off the patio now and about to go up and over the low jump and turn left, because he is effectively now getting under pressure very soon from Elliot Boots. And I say that, but Boots got away with a massive roll accident on the triple. He lost some time, but he actually ended 4 wheels down. So Boots pushing hard now. Ongaro's lead is going to be quite large. The guys he's done the fastest lap, and Buffalo did a 10 seconds now, because Buffalo made a mistake again in the last lap. So 2 mistakes have cost him 10 seconds. Fast lap 37.9. And we're now seeing some pretty high speeds from all the drivers. So the back half that lap you just saw from Buffalo was on camera now was the fastest lap of the day so far. Buffalo. Just drop back to Boots. He's the next car, the orange and white car. This is your third place man. That's Boots. Driving hard. We are now just 10 minutes down, so we're only a sixth of the way, but you can see Boots is visibly gaining on Buffalo. There's Buffalo just exiting the corner to the left as Boots comes in. This is the battle for second. Just to remind you that there's a 10.7 second gap from first to second as Ongaro made... Oh, no. That's the second time that Boots has done that. And that wasn't the best bit of marshalling ever. And I think what's happened is Canas now has popped into third. It is. It's Canas now in third. So the blue and the red S-Works of Canas has gone past the orange and the white S-Works of Boots. Ronafalk still trying to catch up. Ronafalk himself in fifth is having a battle in sixth place with Robert Bataille. But Ongaro carries on leading by 10 seconds. Further down the field, we've lost Lee Martin and we've lost McBride, and I'm not sure he may be in the process of losing Max Mort as well. So bad run for Infinity, both of them breaking down early. So Canas and Boots now having an internecine battle for third. Ongaro lost, well, Ongaro did a fast lap and Buffalo was faster, so Buffalo gained about 0.6 of a second. He's still 10 off, but he has got 48 minutes to try and make that up. Coming into the Hot race hairpin. Boots. Another lap where I think in this one he's just slightly eased back from Canas, isn't he? Canas looking a little bit better. And this is the problem. Boots is slightly overreaching on that jump every time. And if you go too far, you will just slam dunk the thing and roll it. It's a very difficult triple. It didn't look difficult, but it's a very difficult triple. There's a kind of a grip roll turn there for Boots. He's obviously absolutely on the limit and pushing hard. The top two swing back the other way. A tenth of a second in the other way. And Barufalo just got involved in a back marker issue and lost some time. McBride's back in the race again after a problem, but 2 laps down. Mort is running. So, sorry Max Mort fans, why worried as Ongaro comes in for fuel again. So, Barufalo will cross the line in a minute, but he had another problem. So he's probably another few seconds back. Yeah, half a second. So a bit closer now because there's been a fuel difference. As the third and fourth go round. The gap drops. Only through fuel stops. It was that big mistake that Barufalo made just after the first fuel stop for David Ongaro that really caused the issue. He lost the advantage as perhaps he relaxed too much knowing that he didn't have a problem. Canas and Boots are pretty much equidistantly powered and similar speed because they are effectively not gaining or losing on each other. In fact, in the background there, Boots dropping a tiny bit away. But interestingly, Ronefalk was beginning to catch up until a mistake by Misha Vidmar, who missed the pit lane, caused a problem. So Ongaro, Barufalo, only 4 seconds, but a pit, I'm not quite sure whether Ongaro has an incredibly thirsty pit strategy and may end up having an extra stop. So Canas, who we're with, seems to have managed to see off the threat. As the fuel changes, and Canas has got ahead of Barufalo. So Canas is ahead of Barufalo after Barufalo stops. So Canas is running long and is now in second place. So he actually dipped into the fuel stop there. So that was Canas is running a bit longer. So there's a few laps extra. And my guess is that Ongaro will do an extra stop than some of these drivers. Most of them stop there. Ongaro going in early. Barufalo earlier than Canas. They're now back into second place again. And the net effect of this entire pit stop strategy theory is actually nothing in that Barufalo is still 10 seconds back. Yes. So let's see if we can so Canas and Boots have been nailed together for a while now, but Ronefalk has managed to get himself ahead of both of them, so Ronefalk might be running very long. Now, to me, that was a bit of old news as such. I think Ronefalk has since stopped again. He has, so he's stopped, so he's running even later than everyone else. So Ronefalk definitely had a pit stop in hand over Ongaro. Barufalo's had a problem. So off camera, Barufalo has had a problem and has dropped down to 5th. Ronefalk is probably in 4th. No, actually, Ronefalk's now dropped back behind the fuel stop. So let's reposition. Problem for Barufalo. He's dropped back another 12 seconds from Ongaro, and that was 2 laps ago. That happened. Ongaro leads. Canas is 2nd. Boots is 3rd. Barufalo 4th. Ronefalk 5th. Battle is 6th. Closest is this battle between Canas and Boots. Barufalo looking to catch back up to these boys and not far off them. Just drop back 1 car to Boots. He's in the middle of this kind of melee because he may start seeing a visit from Barufalo or even a visit from Ronefalk in the next few minutes. So Boots flying. The interesting thing is these cars are actually quite close, but the track's so fast they end up being a long way apart. Because 1 second at 40 miles an hour is a hell of a lot more of a distance than in meters than 1 second at 10 miles an hour. So, still with Boots. He's a little bit closer to Canas this time around. Canas' car is picking up a lot of dirt. There's a dust. The fuel comes out on one side, a bit of dust. So these two are out together now. Obviously, they are teammates. I'm not sure how much that counts for anything. As Canas and Boots go down the main start-finish straight and over the grid. So if you're watching, well, that's how as you hear, you can see all the gaps now between the two cars. As we get deeper in the race and then Cammy laps off, you can see how much the gap is between everybody. Canas has pulled 4 seconds back on Gara. I don't think Gara's had another fuel stop. And Runafalk has got past Baruffalo. Now, for some reason, Boots and Canas are in second and third appear to be exactly the same speed. Canas actually was 700ths of a second slower that time round. Had some problems. Don't forget both Lee Martin, Max Mort and Carl McBride have all had problems that resulted in them not running the whole period and dropping some laps. So Boots with the S-Works, as is Canas. They actually are teammates in the S-Works International team, and they're, well, nailed together, really. You couldn't get much more than a... Used to say you couldn't get a fag paper between them, but that doesn't really mean an awful lot, because there's very few people who roll their own cigarettes anymore. I think they're very close. So Canas has just dropped off. Boots has just dropped off Canas slightly. Drop back one to Runafalk. Winner of the final round of qualifying Runafalk in the green and... Drop back one, Harry. In the green and red. So we're with Runafalk now. Oh, he's off the track. We were with Runafalk, and that's Baruffalo back passing him. So a little minor error like that. That costs you half a second, but it costs you a place. Canas 8.5 back, 10.5 from the lead, 10.9 from the lead is Boots. 13 is from overall is Baruffalo, and then the Runafalk and Baruffalo are right together, battling for 4th and 5th. We've been watching for a long time the battle between Canas and Canas and Boots, but that's now kind of going on forever. The lead for Ongara has dropped again. I think he may have stopped for fuel because that lead's not now 8 seconds anymore. The lead for Ongara has dropped down to 4.4, so I can only guess that perhaps he's made another petrol stop. Problem is you need eyes on at least 7 cars, especially when they're running split strategies. You're not quite sure who's coming in, but the fact is that Canas now is closer than he was, but also Boots is closer to Canas. So we're going to have to go, I'm afraid, back forward to the Canas and Boots battle for 2nd and 3rd, which is just exiting the patio now. And Canas is about to go over the triple as he comes into a bit of traffic over the triple, and they just ease. Oh, and that's now Boots' chance. Boots does get Canas. So the orange car of Elliott Boots now about to flip back in front of us before starting a new lap. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th go round in that order, and that order is Boots, Canas, Baruffalo, Runafalk. But with a 5-second lead, or 6-second lead nearly for Ongaro, it's all pretty good. So they come round, and Boots now has a comfortable lead. So Canas obviously has gone in for fuel, and as has Runafalk. So Canas and Runafalk both fueled now. It's Boots with his Reds engine, still running. He's got the traffic now, he's got Vidmar in front of him. But we need to wait and see. Because Runafalk actually now is ahead of him. This is all really confusing. So Runafalk's ahead of him. Boots has taken fuel and Runafalk hasn't. That's where my brain got it wrong. Really, the problem is I keep looking at the timing screen, and really I need to look at all 14 cars at once. Actually 13 now because a couple of rounds. So if I can have 13 eyes in my head and the 14th one for the timing, everything would be fine. But the fact is Ongaro is still leading by about 7 seconds. Runafalk is now 2nd because he's, again, running a longer fuel stop strategy. Boots is in... The Canas is now... Oh, flipping neck. It's all going all over the shop, isn't it? Canas and Runafalk are running longer fuel stop strategies. Should I just calm down, sit in front of the air conditioner and start again? Right. Ongara is leading. Canas is 2nd and Runafalk is 3rd. Both Canas and Runafalk are running long fuel strategies. Boots has stopped once more than the two of them and is currently running in 4th. Baruffalo has dropped off with some problems and is in 5th. Ogden is 6th and Battle is 7th. Phew. And we're looking at Boots currently, who is running in 4th. Now, probably what we should probably do now is move up. There's a car upside down, so I'll just see what that is. Oh dear. There wasn't a car involved in it. It was Neumann. And now, so let's go and find Ronefalk, who's nice and clear on his own as he's about to go into the big dip and come across in front of us before he gets on the start finish. So Ronefalk now over start finish with the 7 car. The Edge Performer takes some fuel. Let's take him in and out of fuel, and let's see where he comes out. So he comes up and over the top, and this now I think is most people, yep, because in fact just ahead of him is Canas, so they are now all on the same fuel strategy. Barufalo's caught up as well. They have different amounts in their tanks. Mistake for Barufalo again, that's going to cost him quite dearly. Over the line has gone Ongaro. And this is going to see Ongaro's lead pretty big. As Boots, I think, has gone over in second, but 12 seconds back. Yep, Canas in third. And fourth place is Ronefalk. As we are at a point where they've all stopped a certain number of times. I think that in the end, Ongaro's going to have to stop at least once more than Boots or Canas for the whole race, because we're not even halfway yet. We're only just 23 minutes out of 60, or actually we're 34 laps out of 89, so it's the 44th lap before we actually get to be at halfway. Boots now over the triple. It's not Boots, it's Ronefalk. Ronefalk over the triple, dropping over the section. Mistake in front of me by Boots, but it didn't cost him very much because he just rolled back on his feet again. Actually cost him about 0.6 of a second. He's still lightly quicker than Ongaro, who didn't have the greatest of laps. So the gap between Ronefalk and Canas is 2.3 seconds. The gap between Canas and Boots is 3.5, and the gap between Boots and Ongaro is 11.5. Dropped it worse, it's down 12 seconds. Ronefalk did his fastest lap of the race last time round. So Ronefalk's found some speed, 37.8, which is his personal fastest best, so obviously the car working well. Ronefalk's race effectively unwound itself on the first lap when he got involved in a melee and dropped about 12th position. There goes Ronefalk. Still running fourth. Ongaro pretty healthy on the left and right. So the gaps are coming down a little bit, and Boots and Canas are getting a bit closer again. So let's move to Boots. Boots is about to go under the bridge and onto the patio hairpin, because he now has Canas. So basically, just go 2 cars forward, because they are condensing up from where Ronefalk is. Canas is getting closer to Boots. None of them are getting closer to Ongaro, whose lead is now 15 seconds after a mistake by Boots, which is why everyone's again condensed up. And I'm pretty sure on the stagger that Canas and Ronefalk are slightly ahead of Boots. As the fuel strategy unwinds, the incredibly thirsty world of David Ongaro doesn't matter because he's so fast and so far ahead. But second, third and fourth have been having a bit of a scrapette now for effectively the whole of the race. Drop back one to Canas, who's in the middle of this sandwich of catch-up drivers. So Canas now in the red and blue car. Now a bit wide there. Ronefalk must be seeing it. And then Ronefalk knows he's in an absolute face-to-face battle with Canas, because he knows they're both running the longer fuel strategy. And as they go over the grid hatchings again, that's the man he needs to get past. And I think possibly if he gets past, it'll really be in a net second, because I think Boots has to make one more stop than they do. And Boots only a couple of seconds up the road. Whilst Ongaro has to make one more stop, and has made that one more stop now. He's just stopped again. Lightning fast stops from Ongaro. Always decide the super number of stops is the way to go with the Comsport MX team Scuderia Scampi Rosso. And a mistake by Boots is going to condense these 3 even more. So you look at Canas, you can just see behind him, you can see Ronefalk, and you'll be seeing Boot. No, you won't be seeing Boots there because Boots is going for fuel. So that does prove my point. These boys are ahead on the strategy, and that's a real overshoot of the hot race corner. No, they come together, and Ronefalk now at the inside run. They're real aggressive wheel-to-wheel contact there between Canas and Ronefalk. It started when Canas went really wide. Let's see that again. So he went very, very wide, skiddy, and then there, Ronefalk had his chance, came across the line, squeezed him. Nothing really too wrong about that, but he no harm, no foul, really, and then tried to drive up the inside. So that was Canas actually made a mistake, missed his braking point effectively for that hairpin, set up that four-corner attempt, and then the net effect is that at the end of the day, they both dropped another second from Ongaro. Ongaro, I'm pretty certain at this point, with 12 seconds of lead, is just managing the gap. Whereas these boys are having to fight absolutely hammer and tongs for every square inch. They've got a 3-second lead over Boots, and my feeling is that obviously that second they lost to themselves is also probably going to put them in a situation where when they do stop, Boots will have a nice healthy lead. But they go around and do another lap. So they've done 4 laps since Boots stopped. So they are running much, much longer. Probably a lap or 2, perhaps 2 laps per stop. And that obviously that's 4 laps after 2 stops and 6 laps after 3 stops and 8 laps after 4 stops. And on the inside there's another, he just tipped the inside of the patio and suddenly it opened up and Ronefalk just snapped at his chance like a whippet biting a small rabbit and straight up inside. So Ronefalk there, and immediately gaps Canas as well. I don't think Canas was holding him up. I think Canas is kind of a little bit down on himself, that minor mistake. As Ronefalk sprints round, I think Canas then instantly went in for fuel. So Ronefalk really is running long. But Ronefalk, unfortunately, is 13 seconds behind our leader, many of which were lost on lap 1. So whilst he might not get the points, at least be able to say, at least I had the pace at one point, but it's not scant reward, really, when you're trying to win a championship. He had an absolute mare yesterday in round 3. At the moment, it's 3 out of 3, and it's looking like 4 out of 4 for Ongaro, but many things can change. Ongaro's still turning the decent laps. Last time round, a little bit slower, but he's still, as you can see, got an 11-second lead. As Ronefalk does another lap without stopping. He's got whatever fuel he's got in there, it's lasting forever. And you can see that Boots is right behind him, which is interesting. So Boots actually is going quicker than Ronefalk because he's made up a couple of parts of the fuel stop. Now don't forget, those of you who watched the Neo, not the Neo of course, it was the DXR Dirt Kings, would have seen Ongaro looking pretty invincible until he lost his tyres in the last 20 minutes of the race, and we are now only halfway through. We're on lap 44, just over halfway, lap 45, so we are just over the halfway mark of the race. And that does mean that we're going to have a bit of a, they come popping out. So Ronefalk's finally made his stop. It goes around the hairpin now. Let's pick up our leader. So we're going to have a look at our leader. Our leader's about to come over start finish now. The Grubby on one side, clearing the other. 94 car of Davide Ongaro. He has a lead that's going to be over Boots now, will be in second place. So just wait for them to go. Boots now in second. Ronefalk will be third. So Canas was the loser of that round of pit stops, to be honest. He just dropped back out of it. So 16-second lead is the man on your screen now. Davide Ongaro. As he comes over the sewage plate section. Hots back on the reverse. He's not, I think if I'm honest, it's not a true 16-second lead. I think it's probably one stop extra makes, it's a 10-second lead. And he has put a lap on Barufalo, who is lapped down. He's only 6th. So it's not like he's done a terrible job. But hasn't managed to do what he managed to do quite successfully during qualifying, and that's keep the car 4 wheels down, pointing in the right direction the whole time. So Ongaro, that time round 38.6, he's just about to complete another lap, which I expect will be also quite fast. And here they go. Oh, got back to 7, but Ongaro, again, telling the 38.4, 38.6, 38.5. Fastest man on the track at the moment. Lap after lap is Ongaro, and that's why the lead is inching out. Already completely through the concept of fuel economy to the side, and decided this is what he wanted to do as we now get close to lap 50 of the 89 laps, which should make the final should be just under an hour. I think they're running a little quicker than people thought. Boots still runs second. They've just made a minor mistake. So let's go to Boots, who is about to climb up and over the tabletop and then go into the triple. So Boots on the triple now. So that's Boots. And he's going to come over the bridge. So he's now not very far ahead of Ronefalk, and he's obviously got to stop not in his pocket, if that makes sense. He has to make an extra stop. Canas being gapped slightly. And that is the second place gone. So, and the third place gone. There's a dance of the Seven Veils and not the best. Oh, he's flamed. He's flamed. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. I think Boots is quite close to fuel stop anyway. He's flamed. I wonder whether he got the lap. No, he didn't get the lap. So he didn't get the lap. He was carried over. So he has lost. He's flamed within 10 yards of actually getting the lap. And he's flamed that point. So he's lost the whole lap. So that is a nightmare as he flames out and loses a complete lap. So that's Boots out of it completely. So that's him gone. Good news for Bruffalo, extra point. Boots, not so much. So, oddly, because of the gap there being to the second half of the cars in the track, he's probably going to end up battling for around 7th and 8th. Ongaro leads in. There's a 12-second lead from Ronefalk. Ronefalk is 2 seconds ahead of Canas, and then Battle and Bruffalo. And you saw it there. He went upside down. It all went a bit wrong. And rather unfortunate, wasn't it, that it just kind of suddenly, probably quite low on fuel, he was playing this sort of upside down dancing game and the fuel flow just stopped. And Boots is, as he completes his lap, running in 7th place. Right, let's see if we can pick, I should really find him first. Let's find Ronefalk. Ronefalk's going to have a start-finish now. Let's pick up Dave Ronefalk of a start-finish. So Ronefalk sweeps underneath Zach's camera and then comes into the hot race hairpin. Needs to try and find 12.3 seconds. I think at this point they're on an even strategy. This is the true gap, 12.3. Last time around, Ronefalk gained a 10th of a second. He was a long time at gaining 10th second. But what's happened, of course, is with the loss of... Oh, and now Ongaro just made a mistake. Got marshalled by David. Not David Ronefalk, got marshalled by David Isherwood. So they'll be closer now because there's a mistake for Ongaro. And yep, it was a 4.5 second mistake, and the lead comes down to 7.3. So it's just beginning to get a little bit more interesting until Ronefalk makes a massive mistake himself. That really isn't a mistake. He just must have landed on the particularly chunky bit of land. That's about a second and a half. Let's see that again. It's about a second and a half or two. He was slightly angled, and his angle was just enough to make it upset before he got going again. I reckon he'll lost second and a half with that. Most of it he would have lost it just from the momentum. So his last lap round was a 38.1. Let's see what this one is. Probably 2 seconds he'll lose because that was a good lap last time. So Ronefalk comes across, and it was a 40.8. Yes, so he actually lost 2.2 seconds, and the lead goes out to 8.09. But Ongaro had a pretty poor lap as well off camera. So Ongaro's had a couple of dodgy ones. Ronefalk's had a dodgy one. Canas is sitting there going, "Oh, thank you very much, boys," and waiting to pick up the pieces. So Ongaro looking a lot more balanced. I'm trying to watch Ongaro, Ronefalk and Canas at the same time, which is quite a feat, to be honest, and actually very difficult. So Ronefalk now is coming up towards Buffalo. Should be letting him through because it's lap traffic. Ronefalk did a 38.7 there, lost half a second. So Ronefalk's gone very wide there, and he's going to have a real problem stopping that because he's slid round. Now, I think Canas stopped for fuel that time, which means we're probably going to see Ronefalk stop for fuel in a second. There it flies. Oh. This is Buffalo. So Buffalo now is finding no difficulty in staying ahead of Ronefalk because ground speed wise he's as fast as him. So he's about to get a lap down, but of course it's the mistakes that have decided this whole thing. And another good lap for Ongaro, picked up 0.8 of a second over Ronefalk. So Ronefalk's chase not really coming to very much at the moment. Canas is back another 7 seconds, only 8 seconds, but of course Ronefalk owes us a stop. Ongaro though, this is quite, all these cars have got a dirty side and a clean side. The dirty side is where the dust's been picked up from the exhaust and the fuel and the oil that comes out from the exhaust pipe. And on the other side, they're lovely and clean. Well, not clean, but certainly not filthy. Ronefalk goes in for fuel. Out he comes. Flying well. So this is going to put us back into really where we think we are. Now, Ronefalk turns around, just so you know, Canas comes on the hairpin now. So there's a couple of seconds either way. Problem again for McBride. And the marshal runs out a little bit in front of Ongaro. So Ronefalk carries on going, but he is chasing forlornly. They're about 15 seconds back. Canas, as you can see, that's not Canas, sorry, that's Bruffa. He's got past him. So Bruffa's also stopped the fuel. Let's pick up our leader, which is Ongaro. I'll just tell you where he is, which will probably help rather than say that. Ongaro's now about to go over the triple. So Ongaro going over the triple now. He's singled and doubles it. There's more work for him. We lost, and also now Hoffa's broken down. So as in comes for fuel. And it's a super fast stop from Team Ongaro. And he got a nice little exit there where he actually just fed himself nicely back in the traffic. And even better than that, the guy in front with Vidmar had an accident in front of him and suddenly just running with clear air. He's just ahead of Boots, of course, whose challenge disappeared when he flamed. He's now classed as 2 laps back. Ongaro will have done another 44. He's very, very fast on the fuel gun, the team are. And that was a 44.2. So the gap is going to drop down when Ronefalk crosses the line. I'll tell you when that is. It's in a couple of seconds' time. Because Ronefalk now in second. And yes, going just shy of 6 seconds because it's a fuel stop. But he's 10.2 behind, and that is a genuine 10.2. And we are 59 of 89 laps completed. Behind him, Canas now in third, dropped off a little bit off Ronefalk, and Robert Battle is again away. I think everyone up to, certainly over to Bruffa, I think everyone up to Ogden may have been lapped by now by our leader, David Ongaro, who we see underneath us now. They all spread out after quite a close and testy first few laps. Canas has kind of dropped off the back of Ronefalk as well now. And at some point, I think Ronefalk, if he wants to actually win, which is what he needs to do to get the championship, he's going to have to start throwing caution to the wind. I know it's difficult on this track, but he is going to have to start. If Ongaro is driving within himself, the likelihood of a mistake is virtually nil. So therefore, Ronefalk needs to start pushing. Because he's got himself 28 laps to make up about 11 seconds. However, this time, and it is 11.2, so he lost another few tenths. So the problem he's got at the moment is actually that Ongaro is turning times for fun and showing no indication of any fatigue within the car or the engine or the tyres. So Ronefalk probably would have been happy with second at the start of the day after the disastrous day he had yesterday. But given the problems he had at the start of the actual race, he could be much better. Minor mistake there from Ongaro. Went a bit too wide on the loop turn. That lost him a tenth of a second and covered our camera with even more dust, if that was possible. Into the hot race hairpin. 11.5 is the lead. Now, I'm not sure if Ronefalk may actually got himself into clear air now, which is what he needs, but the glorious speed of these cars. I must say, if you could have come here, I would recommend anyone who likes 1/8 nitro racing. It's a fantastic sight seeing these cars go absolutely full whack round the complete edge of the track. Let's switch our attention to David Ronefalk now. He's just going back over the bridge, and he's going to come turning left in front of us. There's Ronefalk now up out the hole. So Ronefalk in second place, looking to find a way back towards Ongaro. The problem is Ongaro's faster again, 2/10 that time. He settled down quite nicely. Robert Bataille, surprisingly no one is doing better than his qualifying, currently in fourth. Knaus third, Ronefalk second. Ongaro, though, pretty imperious these days. As Ronefalk comes back out the hole again. That lap round he lost in a half second, so he's just not got the actual pace at the moment. This is the problem. He's got a clever fuel strategy, but the actual ground speed of the HB is not the same as the HB Performer car. It's not the same as the team Scuderia Scampi Rosso. So Knaus, though, is actually dropping off Ronefalk. Ronefalk is dropping off Ongaro, 4/10 that time round. So it looks like Ongaro has found the magic formula for grip, drive, and everything else. There's another turn around the patio. 89 laps they're going to be going round the Fehring WNW ring. And that, to be honest, is a long way. They'll cover many, many miles here because the things are going so quickly as an average speed. This probably will end up being, as an hour race, this might end up being the longest race they've ever done. Just because the average lap speed is so high, so they're covering more distance. So doing an hour at this track obviously is way further in meters than an hour at Manila. So I would love to know if this was the case. This is the longest race ever. There've been big tracks before. It's not about the size of the track, because it's always the number of laps. It's actually about the speed of the track, and this track is very, very quick, because you've got that area where they're going right round the edge, dirt ovaling it, absolutely maximum speed. There are some twiddly bits, but in comparison to the fast bits, they're quite minimum. So another lap in the books, and Ongaro and Ronefalk exactly the same that time, 38.3. So Knaus had another stop and dropped a bit further off. Even Knaus and Battle apparently now getting quite close. I think that's a bit of old news. I think what's happened since then is Battle stopped for fuel. And Battle has now been lapped by our leader. So Ongaro has lapped up to third. There's no danger unless there's a technical issue for Ronefalk to get lapped. He comes in for fuel after 68 laps. And 45 minutes. Not the fastest of stops, to be honest, but I'm just wondering whether perhaps Ongaro's blistering pace has kind of broken the Adrien Bertin, Pierre Ronefalk team, and they're sitting there going, well, yep, let's just make sure it happens. We'll get second, and that'll be it, because that's the best we can do. We can't get any better than second. We're going to have to take it. I'm wondering now whether Knaus will be right. Will be anywhere near Ronefalk. I think probably not, actually. So let's go back to our leader, if I can find him. He's just going on to the hairpin on the patio. So it's Ronefalk now just going up and above. He's about to go on the triple now. So Ronefalk now on the triple. Not Ronefalk, sorry, Ongaro. Brain's gone. Very hot in here. Our leader Ongaro on the triple. And we're with Ongaro. Another lap turn. That lap was a 38.7. Obviously the last lap was a fuel stop for David, so it doesn't quite count as a comparable. But though interestingly, his fuel stop was about a second, 2.2 slower than the stops that's been done by the Ongaro team. Now hopping up again. There's David again. Comes round the outside, goes to put another lap on Vidmar. He's put a lap on Robert Bataille. Oh, wow, look at that. An actual mistake. So, and Walter wasn't too keen on actually touching the car because he hadn't turned off the power. So let's see what happened there. So, looks the same as every other lap. Oh, no, he got it turned. He was turning in the air far too much. So that cost him about 5.5 seconds. I mean, maybe he hadn't been revving it, Walter probably would have picked it up a bit quicker, but he didn't want his fingers to come off. And I can't blame him, to be honest. So that is about probably a third of his lead he just threw away. So if he can do that twice the next 2 laps, we're going to have an exciting couple of seconds, couldn't we? So the lead has dropped down to 13 seconds, and he will have to stop again. And when he stops, that lead will come down to about 7 if Ronnefalk doesn't make a mistake. But Ronnefalk's basic pace now appears to have disappeared. In fact, Ronnefalk just himself has made a mistake off camera. And you'll see it now as he picks up with a 40, so it's back out of 14. So Ronnefalk's car really isn't looking like a weapon of mass destruction, looking like a weapon of just getting to the end and hoping for the best. And in fairness, Canas isn't gaining either, so it appears that the wear and tear of this already past 45 minutes or 48-minute race is actually playing heavier on the chasing pack than our leader, who only his problem is when he makes a little bit of a mistake. As he goes back up past the grid straight, flying over the big tabletop and then down towards the hot race hairpin. He'll then sweep right. You need the middle lane here and then drift out under the bridge to the patio corner. Get some straight drive, it'll hop up and then you turn and you come over the infinity tabletop. He's run out quite short and then you have to decide, I'm going to do single, double, double, single. A single, double this time over the triple for Ongaro, over the bridge, onto the sewer plates and then turn sharp left before beginning the 3-way left, right, red, Z. He comes out in front of us the wrong way, I would think of it, and now crosses the line. And that lap was a 38.2 and he's doing much faster laps than Ronnefalk can. So my guess is that Ronnefalk is struggling with tyres at this point and may well be sitting there, I've got second, and what I'll probably worry about that is, you know, if I get very lucky and Ongaro gets very unlucky, if he has a flame or if he has a tyre come off. Would that ever happen? Would a tyre ever come off a car? I don't know. Or whatever, I can pick up the pieces, because I don't think Ronnefalk has a car that is capable of running the pace that Ongaro, I think Ongaro probably is a 38.2, 38.5 car, whereas Ronnefalk is a 38.8, 39 car. I reckon it's about half a second a lap, the average gain that Ongaro can put on Ronnefalk at this stage in the race, and this stage in the race is with 14 laps to go. Behind them, it's still Canas, so he's dropping off Ronnefalk, and then it's Battle. Battle is 7 seconds behind Canas, so that may become a battle with the Spaniards again, but at the moment it's quite a bit of a distance. It's 7 seconds between Battle and Canas in third and fourth. Then you have Marco Baruffalo, who's a long way back from them in fifth, then Cole Ogden in sixth, Bjorn Neumann in seventh. Eighth place is Joe Quagreen. Then you've got Carl McBride, who's actually still going despite flaming twice, and Hoffer, Vidmar, Boots. He's always had another problem. Off camera, I haven't noticed that Boots is retired, I'm afraid. And then you have Morton, Lee. So Lee, Morton, Boots are definitely retired. I think Vidmar is going again. So we've had a very high rate of attrition in this final, which I think says quite a lot about the track surface. But not having any problems at the moment is our leader. And he's going to come round, having put another lap on McBride. So it's quite impressive that McBride is running in ninth after flaming twice. And there he goes. So Ongaro last time around was 38.9. Ronnefalk hasn't completed this lap yet, so you can see how far behind he is. And he was a 38.4. So actually a bit quicker that time around, but he's lost 5 seconds. He's getting a fuel stop. So 9 minutes to go. Oh, is it 9 minutes? So it's not 9 minutes to go. It's 12 laps to go. I do apologise. I'm not playing the game right here, am I? So Ongaro. Oh, no, another mistake for Ongaro, but that's only a second. And he comes in for fuel as well. So Ongaro goes in for fuel after a 2-second mistake, actually. So Ongaro waiting to come out again, and there he is, sweeping down beneath us. Not sure. I think he's going to have to stop again, you know, because there's still 6, 7 minutes to go. He might be able to get the end on this one. It'll be tight, unless he's been very generous with his fuel consumption. He comes out ahead of Canas, so that means he's lapped Canas as well now. In fact, Battle's now ahead of Canas as well. So that's interesting. Battle ahead of Canas. Not quite sure how that happened, but Canas seems to have dropped a long way back from Battle. So Canas had a problem. I can't believe it's a fuel stop to be that far behind, because he was 6 seconds ahead of Battle. And now Canas is 9 seconds behind him after 39 seconds. So whilst we were looking at that pit stop, it appears that Robert has taken a massive piece of advantage out of Canas. So where is Robert? Let's have a look if we see Robert Bataille. He's about to go over the triple. So Robert Bataille over the triple now, coming over the bridge. Spaniard not really featuring anything, but look, he's in third. It's an hour-long final. Of course he's in third. You know, that's what happens. Robert doesn't just shows up, and he's showing up again towards the end of the race. So Robert shows up towards the end of the race, and there's more fuel goes into him. Now this is interesting because he's going to come out still ahead of Canas. I'm not sure. No, Canas is going round now, so he's still got a lead. I guess Canas definitely had a problem at some point off camera. Dropped out of the quite comfortable third place. Ongaro's made another mistake and lost 3 seconds. But Ongaro is just ahead of Canas, but a lap ahead of Canas, if that makes sense. At this point, no one's going very quickly, I've just realised. Robert's done a 46. Maybe in his last fuel stop. Battle is lapping at 38.9, so he has found a little bit of speed towards the back end with the all-orange team, Beach RC. And so let's say thanks to Team BeachRC.com, HB Racing and Performer Racing, Infinity, Consport MX Racing and Scuderia, Scampi Rosso, S-Works Europe, S-Works International and JQ Racing, as well as Hot Race Tyres, Savox Servos and Reds Engines for supporting RCGP. As the fourth race gets towards its closing stage, we've had 81 of 89 laps, so it's actually 81 of 88 laps really, last at counting. So we're getting very close to the end now. But with Battle, who's got a reasonable lead. Ongaro leads by 12. Not sure how much he could lead by if he wanted to. Ronafalt last time round actually gained about 7/10. What was that? Back on the pace again, Ongaro 38.3. It's not that far away, in fact, Ongaro from lapping the man we're with. So if you drop back one car, you will pick up our leader, and that is David Ongaro. And the only thing that really matters now is that whether he's going to need to make another fuel stop or not. Ronafak I've just watched take a very circumspect route to avoid something. So I think Ronafak now is already understands there's no way he can win this on the road without a bit of luck. Well, more importantly, bad luck for Ongaro. Ongaro spins around with 38.8 and does indeed lap Robert Battle. He's in for dead, actually. Come to the end of round 4 of a fantastic event here at RCGP. We've had absolutely superb racing in the qualifying races. Barufalo looked to have finally broken the Ongaro hoodoo, and indeed he started off the best. And it wasn't until the end of during the first pit stops that Ongaro was able to get past his fellow Italian when he made a mistake. And so Barufalo, who really has been quick but has struggled with kicking it 4 wheels down. If I look at his car now, he's broken his wing actually, which probably isn't helping for the Barufalo. Ongaro knows all about that, obviously, because he broke his wing to win at the Neo a couple of years ago in the shed. And he was second, of course, at the Dirt Kings race this Easter. After, again, choosing the wrong tyre. He told us he changed his tyre choice prior to this to make sure it lasted, and it certainly has. As he comes up with 4.5 laps to go, Ongaro has kind of made this his own. Always looking in control. 39 flats, doesn't need to run anything faster than that. The key thing is, even if he stops for fuel, he's still going to win unless he has a problem. And every fuel stop is a potential issue. Every fuel stop, you can flame out, especially if these engines have been running for a long time. Little pockets of air, little problems can occur. Running a racing nitro engine for an hour in very dusty conditions. Obviously, air filtration is obviously incredibly sophisticated these days. But there is Ongaro coming to complete another lap, and that he is completed 86. So he's now got just lap 87 and lap 88 and lap 89, and he will become a 4-time RCGP winner, and still the only RCGP winner, having won 4 on the spin in a much tighter battle today, in which his major rivals, Barufalo initially threw it away, and sadly for David Runnerfalk, he blew it on the first lap, and he was trying to around, and he ended up at the end of the first lap, he was 13th, and then he had to battle everyone else. And given the fact that he's still only 11.5 seconds behind now, and the amount of time you lose doing all that, it's not 11.5 seconds, but it is a large chunk of time, and a chunk of time that would have put more pressure on Ongaro, as he does make a final stop. So Ongaro did have to make a splash at the end. So Ongaro's made a splash. Luckily, of course, for him, he already had a decent lead. So it's not been quite as plain sailing. It's been incredibly controlled by Ongaro. And when he comes round now he'll be starting his final lap in a second. So he's only got a lap. Actually, he stopped with a lap and a half to go. I wonder whether that was a stop they didn't have to make, but decided to make because they could. So Ongaro will start his last lap in a few seconds' time. The distance to Ronefalk is probably about 6 seconds. The only issue about this is one major accident and he's going to lose the lead. So Ongaro goes across now. Ronefalk will go across the line now on the last lap. So Ongaro's on his last lap. He's up the top of the track and the lead was down to 5.5 seconds. Very close distance for a race that's never looked that close on paper, but now it is close. The strategies have round out. So Ongaro has about 5 corners where he just has to keep it all 4 wheels down. He's slightly leaning there as he goes to the tabletop. Now this is the one real area of danger. Single. I was thinking it was a single. It comes over the bridge. Turns on the plates. He's got to go that way. He's made mistakes twice at the end of this straight. He just literally can roll it, and he probably will roll it, and he'll turn left, and that will be a win for David Ongaro. He is RCGP Round 4 winner, and a great result for him. Fantastic for Ongaro. Ongaro wins 89 laps in 59 minutes. Second place is Ronefalk. Third place is Battle. There's no surprise Battle. Then Canas. So Ongaro is your winner. And a great result for him. Well done, very well earned as he kind of drives the car back in, congratulates other people. Not sure about Ronefalk, I'm sure Battle have, not sure about Ronefalk, but a great result.
So for the final time this weekend, as we wait for Nick to head round to the interview area to speak to, I'm sure, David and maybe another couple of drivers, I can give you the results, and they are as follows. Position number 1, David Ongaro. Position 2, David Ronefalk. 3, Robert Battier. 4, Juan Carlos Canes. Position 5, Marco Barufalo. Position 6, Cole Ogden. 7, Jorn Neumann. Position number 8, Joseph Quagrain. 9, Patrick Hoffer. In position 10, Carl McBride. Position 11, Mika Vidmeyer. Position number 12, Max Mort. Position number 13, Elliot Boots. And position number 14, Lee Martin. So as we wait for Nick to make his way around to the interview area, I believe he's got David now.
With the winner of, well, round 4, the 4th round he won, getting the congratulations from everyone else, David Ongaro, a great win. You were always in front after the first 6 minutes, but in the end it was only 5 seconds. Were you just pacing it? Was your fuel consumption a problem? How come it ended up being so close when you were so in charge?
Yeah, the tire were finished, and also with the fuel stop, I made 1 fuel stop more than David, I think. But car was really good, tire also, and really happy.
How close were you to, in that long middle section, 89 laps, or about 60 laps in the middle where you were just turning laps? Were you pushing every time, or were you just back on the edge?
Yeah, just back on the edge, exactly. Yeah, when I can push, and then when I don't need to push, I don't need to push.
You had a very short fuel strategy. Was that a tactic to get more power, or just because the engine was so thirsty?
Yeah, the engine was thirsty, so I don't can make minutes. So 6:30 was our fuel stop.
David, congratulations, 4 out of 4, well done. Cheers. And now we have our second place man. David, I would think in some ways, if I'd said to you this morning you'll get second, you'd have taken it after yesterday. But I don't want to say this, but it all went wrong on lap 1.
Yeah, like always. Seems like I had like two good starts this weekend. Once again there, not my mistake. I passed Davide on the start. Michael crashed, hit that pipe, was upside down. I marshaled his car and I got stuck. So got the worst out of it, all the way to the back, and I had to work my way up.
What were you thinking mentally there? Where you actually came across the end of the first lap in 13th place. I mean, do you ever get the point where now I'm off?
Almost, yeah. It was frustrating. Everything felt good on the warm-up. I knew we were probably going to have one less pit stop, so advantage on that. Obviously he cruised towards the end not to make a mistake, but you never know. Basically, his lead was what I lost on the first lap, and having to work my way up through the field. They pulled away there when I tried to pass some cars, and I pushing that much as I did, I always make you always make a few mistakes here and there that drop you back a little bit as well. So yeah, it's frustrating not being able to be up there from the start. I think I really had something for him today, but they do what it takes. They have the luck in the start, and that's what you need.
David, wrong one. David, why don't you need different names? David, I'm saying congratulations, well done. Good one. Second place, man. Thank you very much. So that are the first and second. There will be a proper press conference for the top 3 in probably about 20 minutes' time, not instantaneous like we thought yesterday. But that is RCGP round 4 from Austria done. 4 rounds, 4 wins for Davide Ongaro. We now next trip over to Austria from Austria to Italy in 2 months' time to the Asti track. That's Mao's home track, so it'll be even more officious. Amazing. But that's RCGP round 4 in the books. We hope you enjoyed it. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks for watching.